What happens to your soul in the first year after death? Edgar Cayce explained, what if the moment of death is not an ending? What if instead it is the beginning of your soul's most profound adventure? Right now, as you breathe, as your heart beats steadily in your chest, your consciousness is preparing for a journey that every soul must take. A journey that has remained shrouded in mystery for millennia. But what if that mystery could be unveiled? What if someone had actually witnessed this sacred transition? Not once, not twice, but thousands of times. What if this person had the extraordinary gift to follow souls beyond the veil, to map their experiences, to document their revelations? There was such a person. His name was Edgar Cayce, and through his profound spiritual gift, he was able to perceive what happens when consciousness shifts beyond the physical realm. For over 40 years, Cayce tracked souls through their first year in spirit. He communicated with those who had crossed over. He created detailed maps of realms invisible to ordinary sight. Through his readings, he revealed the stages, the challenges, and the extraordinary revelations that await every soul. Tonight, you will witness this journey through his eyes. You will discover that death is not a fearsome unknown, but a sacred graduation into expanded existence. You will learn that the first year beyond is not emptiness or void, but the most intensive period of learning your soul will ever experience. And perhaps most importantly, you will understand that consciousness continues, love endures, and the connections you cherish here, they travel with you into forever. This is not just knowledge about death. This is wisdom about life itself. The journey begins now. In the quiet town of Hopkinsville, Kentucky, something extraordinary was happening. A man would lie down, close his eyes, and enter a state unlike anything medicine had ever documented. His name was Edgar Cayce. And in this mysterious state of consciousness, he could perceive realms beyond the physical world. While others saw death as an impenetrable wall, Cayce saw it as a doorway. While others heard only silence from those who had passed, he heard their voices, their experiences, their ongoing journeys of the soul. For over 4 decades, Cayce conducted thousands of readings. Many involved souls who had recently crossed over. Family members would come to him, desperate for contact with loved ones who had died, and Cayce, somehow, could find them. But this was not mere communication with the dead. This was something far more profound. Cayce could track the soul's journey through dimensions invisible to physical eyes. He could map the territories of consciousness that exist beyond the body. He became, in essence, a cosmic cartographer, charting the landscape of the afterlife with precision and compassion. What he discovered challenges everything we think we know about death. Through his gift, Cayce revealed that consciousness doesn't end at the moment of physical death. Instead, it expands, it continues, it embarks on a journey of learning, healing, and preparation that is more intensive and transformative than anything experienced in physical life. And the first year is crucial. Cayce's approach was never about fear or judgment. He saw death as the most natural transition imaginable, like a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis, or a child being born from the womb. Death is simply consciousness moving from one state of existence to another, more magnificent, more free, more aware. This is the vision that Edgar Cayce shared with the world. And now, you are about to witness it for yourself. According to Cayce's profound vision, death is not what we have been taught to believe. Death is birth, birth into expanded consciousness, birth into dimensions of existence that your current mind can barely imagine. But like any birth, there is a process, a curriculum, a journey of adaptation and discovery. The first year after death. This is your soul's most intensive learning period. more transformative than any earthly education, more revealing than any spiritual practice you have ever undertaken. During this sacred year, the soul must learn to navigate realities that operate by completely different laws, where thought becomes form, where emotion creates environment, where love is not just a feeling, but the very fabric of existence itself. Yet through it all, something remarkable remains constant. The connections you have forged in life, the love you have given and received, these travel with you. They become the guiding lights in your journey through realms beyond the physical. Cayce described this process with extraordinary detail. He revealed how souls maintain their essential identity while expanding beyond all previous limitations, how they continue to grow, to learn, to love, but now with cosmic perspective. Understanding this journey transforms everything. When you know that consciousness continues, when you understand that death is transition, not termination, when you realize that love transcends all boundaries, you begin to live differently. Every relationship becomes more precious. Every moment carries deeper meaning. Every challenge is reframed as opportunity for soul growth. Fear begins to dissolve, not because you become careless with life, but because you understand life's true nature. You are not a body having a spiritual experience. You are an eternal soul having a physical experience. And the physical experience, beautiful as it is just the beginning. Your soul has a curriculum, a purpose, a journey that extends far beyond the boundaries of flesh and time. The question is not whether you will continue after death. The question is, what will your soul discover when it does? Imagine for a moment your final breath in this physical body. Cayce described this sacred moment with remarkable detail. The soul, he revealed, doesn't suddenly vanish from the body. Instead, there is a gentle, gradual, loving process of separation. Picture a golden cord of light, delicate as silk yet stronger than any earthly bond, connecting your consciousness to the physical form you have inhabited. As the body prepares for its rest, this cord begins to lengthen, to stretch, to glow with increasing brilliance. At first, there may be confusion. The newly released consciousness looks down at the physical form and thinks, "But that cannot be me. I am here. I am aware. I am more myself than I have ever been." And indeed, you are. The physical limitations that have constrained you for decades or a lifetime begin to dissolve. Pain disappears. Fatigue melts away. The weight of years lifts like morning mist. Yet you remain completely, utterly yourself. Your memories intact, your personality preserved, your capacity for love infinitely expanded. Cayce witnessed souls in this moment of recognition again and again. The surprise, the wonder, the gradual understanding that what they had called life was actually a very small room, and now they were stepping into a vast mansion of consciousness. Some souls linger near their physical form for a time, watching over loved ones, offering comfort in ways that transcend physical touch. The cord of light remains until the final moment of release, ensuring that the transition is never abrupt, never jarring, and when that cord finally dissolves in a cascade of luminous energy, the soul experiences freedom beyond description. Imagine being able to move not by walking, but by intention, to communicate not through words, but through direct understanding, to perceive not through physical senses, but through expanded awareness that encompasses dimensions previously invisible. This is the moment of release. This is consciousness liberated. This is the soul discovering its true nature. But where does the soul go first? What does it encounter in those crucial initial moments beyond the physical? The answer will surprise you. You are not alone. This is perhaps the most beautiful revelation from Edgar Cayce's exploration of the afterlife. In those first moments after release, the soul does not drift into emptiness or face the unknown in isolation. Instead, you arrive in what Cayce called the recognition realm, a dimension of existence specifically designed for souls in transition, a place of profound welcome and gentle orientation. Picture this. As your consciousness adjusts to its expanded state, familiar figures begin to emerge from what seems like golden twilight. At first, they appear as soft impressions, warm presences, comforting energies that feel deeply known. Then recognition dawns. Your grandmother, who passed when you were 12. The grandfather you barely knew in physical life, but feel instantly connected to now. Friends who crossed over before you, even beloved pets whose spirits have waited patiently for your arrival. But these are not ghosts or memories. These are conscious beings, souls who have completed their own orientation and have chosen to serve as guides for those newly arrived. Cayce described the joy of these reunions with profound tenderness. Imagine embracing a loved one and feeling not just their presence, but their entire journey since crossing over, their growth, their peace, their expanded understanding of existence itself. Welcome home, they seem to say without words. You have done well. Rest now and let us help you understand where you are. The recognition realm, according to Cayce, is a place of healing. Earthly wounds begin to close. Conflicts that seemed so important in physical life dissolve in the light of higher understanding. Old hurts transform into compassion. Ancient grievances become wisdom. Your guides help you understand your new existence gently, patiently, with infinite love. They show you how consciousness works in this realm, how intention creates experience, how love draws souls together and fear creates only temporary shadows that dissolve in the light of truth. This loving welcome, this gentle orientation, this healing of earthly wounds, these are just the beginning, because your soul's education is about to begin in earnest, and what awaits you next will transform everything you thought you knew about existence itself. Now comes the moment every soul must face, and it is nothing like what you might expect. Edgar Cayce revealed that after the period of recognition and orientation, each soul undergoes what he called the life review. But this is not judgment by some external force. This is not punishment or condemnation. This is something far more profound. It is the soul's honest, loving evaluation of the journey just completed. Imagine suddenly having access to every moment of your recently concluded life, not as distant memories, but as vivid, immediate experiences. Every word you spoke, every action you took, every thought you held in the privacy of your mind. But here is what makes this extraordinary. You experience it all from multiple perspectives simultaneously. You feel the joy you brought to others, and you also experience that joy as they felt it. You witness the moments when your words provided comfort, and you feel the comfort as it was received. You also encounter the times when your actions caused pain, and you experience that pain exactly as others experienced it, not as punishment but as education, as expansion of understanding, as the development of true compassion. Cayce described souls in this process not as tormented but as learning, growing, expanding their capacity for love and wisdom. Now I understand, they would realize. Now I see how everything is connected, how every choice ripples outward, how love multiplies and fear diminishes, how even my struggles contributed to the greater pattern. The life review, according to Cayce, reveals the deeper purpose behind every experience. The soul begins to see how challenges were opportunities for growth, how difficult relationships were classrooms for patience and forgiveness, how even tragedies serve to awaken compassion and strength. This is not about guilt or shame. This is about understanding, recognition, the dawning awareness of how perfectly orchestrated the soul's journey has been, even in moments that felt chaotic or meaningless at the time. As patterns emerge, as connections become clear, as the soul recognizes the profound wisdom embedded in its earthly experience, a crucial choice point approaches. What will the soul choose to learn next? What aspects of love and wisdom require further development? The answer to these questions will shape everything that follows. What would it be like to suddenly understand the mysteries that have puzzled humanity for millennia? According to Edgar Cayce, after the life review, souls enter what he described as vast halls of learning, dimensions of consciousness where universal truths, previously hidden from physical perception, become brilliantly clear. Imagine walking into a library that contains not books, but living knowledge, where understanding flows into your consciousness like gentle streams of light, where the deepest questions of existence are answered not through studying, but through direct experience. Here, souls discover the cosmic laws that govern all existence, the mathematics of love, where giving multiplies rather than diminishes, the physics of prayer, where focused intention literally reshapes reality, the architecture of creation itself, where consciousness is revealed as the fundamental building block of all that exists. Cayce described souls in these halls as overwhelmed with wonder, like children discovering that their backyard contains infinite galaxies, like scientists suddenly given access to the unified theory that explains everything. You begin to understand why certain relationships entered your life, why specific challenges appeared at particular moments, why your soul chose the exact circumstances of your most recent incarnation. The interconnectedness of all existence becomes not just a concept, but a lived reality. You see how your individual journey contributes to a vast symphony of consciousness, how every soul's growth benefits all souls, how love given anywhere strengthens the fabric of reality itself. But perhaps, most remarkable of all, you begin to comprehend your own role in this divine plan, not as a small, insignificant being struggling through random experiences, but as a unique and necessary expression of cosmic consciousness, a note in the universal symphony that could never be replaced. In these halls, souls study with masters who have completed many cycles of learning. They explore realms of creativity beyond physical imagination. They begin to grasp truths about time, space, and consciousness that expand their understanding exponentially. Yet even this cosmic education is preparation, because the soul's work in these first 12 months is far from complete. Something even more profound awaits, a process of healing that will transform not just the soul's understanding, but the very fabric of its relationships across time and space. Love, Edgar Cayce revealed, is the only force that transcends death unchanged. And in the months following a soul's transition, something beautiful occurs, a process of healing that reaches across the veil to touch every relationship the soul has ever known, both with those who have passed and those who remain in physical form. From your expanded perspective in the spirit realms, you begin to see your earthly relationships with complete clarity. The patterns, the purposes, the profound love that existed even within conflict and difficulty. That argument with your sister before you passed. You now see it as two souls working out ancient patterns, helping each other grow through friction and eventual forgiveness. The parent who seemed distant or critical, you understand now, was a soul who chose a challenging role to help develop your strength and independence. The friend who betrayed your trust, revealed as a teacher who helped you learn discernment and the difference between conditional and unconditional love. Cayce described how souls spend significant portions of their first year actively participating in the healing of relationships, not as distant observers but as loving presences, working to complete what was left unfinished. Through dreams, you visit those still in physical form. Through synchronicities and signs, you offer comfort and guidance. Through meditation and prayer, you whisper love across dimensions that cannot separate consciousness. Many people report sensing their deceased loved ones during this period, a familiar fragrance appearing unexpectedly, a favorite song playing at precisely the right moment. Dreams so vivid they feel more real than waking life. According to Cayce, these are not imagination or wishful thinking. These are actual communications from souls actively working to heal and complete earthly relationships from their expanded perspective. But the healing goes deeper still. Souls also encounter others they have known across multiple lifetimes. Ancient friendships are renewed. Soul contracts that span centuries are reviewed and updated. Forgiveness flows like rivers of light, washing away karma that may have accumulated across numerous incarnations. You discover that every person who significantly impacted your recent life you have known before. You have chosen each other again and again to serve as teachers, challengers, and catalysts for mutual growth. This understanding transforms any remaining resentment into gratitude, any lingering fear into love, any sense of separation into recognition of the profound unity that connects all souls. As this healing process nears completion, the soul approaches another crucial threshold, a time of preparation for what comes next in its eternal journey. As the first year in spirit draws toward its close, something profound begins to emerge in the soul's consciousness, a deep knowing, a recognition of its next phase of learning and service. Edgar Cayce described this period as purpose preparation, the time when souls, having completed their life review, their cosmic education, and their relationship healing, begin to understand what their consciousness needs to experience next. Some souls discover they are ready for their next incarnation. They begin to sense the specific lessons they need to learn, the relationships they need to heal, the gifts they need to develop. With the guidance of advanced souls who serve as counselors, they start preparing for their return to physical existence. But incarnation is not the only path. Cayce revealed that some souls choose to remain in the spirit realms as guides and teachers. Others move into dimensions of service that transcend physical experience entirely. Each soul's purpose is unique, determined by its individual journey of growth and the specific ways it can best serve the evolution of consciousness. The soul begins to feel a pull, a deep resonance toward its next area of learning. Like a compass needle finding true north, consciousness aligns itself with its highest good and greatest service. If reincarnation is the chosen path, the soul works with spiritual counselors to select the circumstances of its next life, the family that will best support its growth, the challenges that will develop needed strengths, the talents that will allow it to contribute its gifts to the world. This is not random selection. This is conscious choice based on profound self-knowledge and deep commitment to growth. The soul understands that earthly life, with all its difficulties and limitations, is actually a precious opportunity, a chance to test spiritual understanding in the laboratory of physical experience, to practice love under challenging conditions, to serve others while developing its own consciousness. As preparation intensifies, the soul feels increasing excitement, not unlike a student preparing for an advanced degree in a subject they are passionate about. The anticipation of new learning, new growth, new opportunities to express love and wisdom. But even as the soul prepares for its next phase, It maintains eternal connections with all those it has loved. Love, Cayce taught, creates bonds that are never broken, only transformed. The first year is drawing to a close, but the journey, the magnificent eternal journey of consciousness, continues forever. But what about those left behind? What about you, still here in physical form, wondering if your loved ones continue to exist, wondering if they remember you, wondering if love really does survive death? Edgar Cayce's revelations offer profound comfort and practical guidance, because according to his extensive research, souls who have crossed over don't just continue to exist, they actively work to maintain connection with those they love. During their first year in spirit, souls develop new ways of communication that transcend physical limitations. Through dreams, they can visit you directly. Through synchronicities, they can orchestrate meaningful signs. Through meditation and prayer, they can whisper guidance and comfort directly into your consciousness. Cayce described how to recognize these communications. That dream where your deceased mother appeared more vivid and alive than she had seemed in years. Likely not your imagination, but an actual visit from her expanded consciousness. The cardinal that appears at your window each morning since your husband passed, perhaps not coincidence, but his way of saying, "I am still here, still watching over you." The sudden knowing that floods your mind during quiet meditation. The sense of guidance and comfort that feels like it comes from beyond yourself. This may be your loved one sharing wisdom from their expanded perspective. But Cayce emphasized the importance of developing your own receptivity. Like tuning a radio to a specific frequency, you can learn to open your consciousness to these subtle communications. Spend time in stillness. Create quiet spaces where your mind can perceive beyond its usual chatter. Practice meditation not as emptying your mind, but as expanding your awareness to include dimensions beyond the physical. Most importantly, trust your intuition. When you sense your loved one's presence, when you feel their comfort surrounding you in difficult moments, when guidance seems to flow from a source beyond your own thinking, remain open to the possibility that love truly does transcend death. Your connection with those who have crossed over doesn't end at the moment of physical separation. It transforms, it deepens, it becomes a bridge between dimensions that enriches both your earthly journey and their continued evolution. They have not forgotten you. They have not stopped loving you. They have simply moved into a larger room of existence, and they are calling you to recognize that the room you currently inhabit is larger than you have ever imagined. If you are listening to these words while carrying the weight of recent loss, if your heart feels broken by the physical absence of someone you love, this message is especially for you. Your pain is real. Your grief is valid. The empty space in your daily life where their presence used to be, this is natural and necessary and healing. But Edgar Cayce's revelations offer you something beyond comfort. They offer you truth. Your loved one continues to exist, not as a memory, but as a living, growing, conscious being. The essence that you fell in love with. Their humor, their kindness, their unique way of seeing the world. This has not been extinguished. It has been liberated. They remember you. They carry with them every moment of love you shared. Every laugh, every conversation, every quiet evening together. These experiences have become treasures they hold in their expanded consciousness. And they are not alone. They are surrounded by love in ways that transcend anything possible in physical life. Guided by those who crossed before them, educated by masters of wisdom, healed of every earthly wound. Most importantly, they are not gone from your life. They have moved into a different relationship with you, one that transcends physical presence but maintains the eternal bond of love. When you dream of them and they seem more real than life, trust that experience. When you sense their presence during difficult moments, open your heart to their comfort. When guidance seems to come from beyond your own thinking, consider that they may be sharing wisdom from their expanded perspective. Your grief is love with nowhere to go in physical form, but love always finds a way. It flows between dimensions. It bridges worlds. It connects hearts across any distance, including the distance between physical and spiritual existence. Take time to heal. Honor your process. Allow yourself to feel the full depth of your loss, but also, gently, begin to open to the possibility that love never dies. It only transforms. They are waiting for you to recognize their continued presence. They are hoping you will trust the subtle ways they reach out to comfort you. They are loving you from dimensions where love is not limited by physical form. You will see them again. You will hold them again. But even now, even in this moment of separation, you are connected by bonds that death cannot break. Perhaps as you listen to these revelations about the soul's first year beyond death, you find yourself contemplating your own eventual transition. Perhaps you wonder, what will await me when my time comes to cross that threshold? If you are facing your own mortality, whether through illness, age, or simply the awareness that life is temporary, let Edgar Cayce's vision bring you peace. You are not traveling toward emptiness. You are traveling toward expansion, toward reunion, toward understanding that will illuminate every experience of your earthly journey. The physical limitations that may currently constrain you, the pain, the fatigue, the gradual diminishing of bodily function, these will dissolve in the moment of your release. You will discover yourself more alive, more aware, more yourself than you have ever been. Those you have loved and lost will be there to welcome you, not as you remember them in their physical limitations, but as their true, eternal selves, radiant with love and wisdom accumulated through their own journey beyond the veil. The fears you may carry about death, the worry about judgment, about punishment, about being alone. Cayce's revelations dissolve these shadows with light. You will find not judgment but understanding, not punishment but education, not loneliness but connection beyond anything possible in physical form. Your consciousness, this awareness that is reading these words right now, this will continue, enhanced, expanded, freed to explore dimensions of existence that your current mind can barely imagine, and your earthly journey with all its struggles and triumphs will be revealed as perfect preparation for what comes next. Every challenge will be seen as strength building, every loss as an opportunity to develop compassion, every moment of love as an eternal treasure. You are not a body awaiting death. You are an eternal soul currently having a physical experience, and that experience, beautiful and temporary as it is just one chapter in a story that never ends. When your time comes to cross that threshold, you will do so with grace, with support, with the accumulated love of your entire lifetime surrounding and supporting you. You will discover that what you call death is actually birth. Birth into the fuller expression of who you have always been. Until that sacred moment arrives, live fully, love freely, trust the journey. Your soul knows the way. Understanding the soul's journey beyond death changes everything about how you live before death. When you truly grasp that consciousness continues, that love endures, that every experience contributes to your eternal development, then each day becomes infused with deeper meaning. Relationships transform, knowing that the connections you forge now will continue beyond physical separation. You invest more deeply in authentic love. You forgive more quickly. You express appreciation more freely. You recognize that every interaction is potentially eternal significance. Challenges reframe themselves. When you understand that your soul has chosen your earthly experiences as opportunities for growth, difficulties become classrooms rather than punishments. You ask not, "Why is this happening to me?" but "What is this teaching me? How is this developing my capacity for love, wisdom, and service?" Fear begins to dissolve, not the healthy caution that keeps you safe, but the existential terror that keeps you small. When you know that life is eternal, when you trust that love transcends all boundaries, when you recognize yourself as an immortal soul temporarily wearing physical form, you begin to live with cosmic courage. Edgar Cayce's vision invites you to embrace what we might call soul perspective, seeing your current life not as the totality of your existence, but as one magnificent chapter in an eternal story. From this perspective, every day becomes precious, not because it might be your last, but because it is irreplaceable opportunity for growth and love. Every person you encounter is revealed as a fellow soul on the journey. Every experience becomes curriculum for your consciousness. You begin to live as if love matters more than fear, because it does. As if kindness carries eternal significance, because it does. As if the connections you make and the service you provide will ripple through dimensions and lifetimes, because they will. This is not about becoming careless with life. It is about becoming fearless in love, about recognizing that you are both human and divine, both temporary and eternal, both individual and connected to all that exists. When you live with death wisdom, life becomes not a desperate clutching at temporary pleasures, but a joyful participation in eternal purposes. You are preparing not just for earthly success, but for cosmic contribution. Every act of love you perform, every moment of compassion you offer, every choice you make to grow rather than shrink, to serve rather than hoard, to trust rather than fear, these become investments in your eternal development and contributions to the evolution of all consciousness. You are living as an immortal soul, because that is exactly what you are. As we reach the end of this journey through Edgar Cayce's revelations about the soul's first year beyond death, perhaps you feel something shifting in your understanding. Perhaps the boundaries between life and death, between physical and spiritual, between temporary and eternal, have become more permeable. This is the gift of cosmic perspective, the recognition that you are not a small, isolated being struggling through a brief and possibly meaningless existence. You are an eternal soul on an infinite journey of growth, love, and service. Death is not the opposite of life. It is life without limitations. It is consciousness freed from physical constraints. It is love expanded beyond all boundaries. Right now, in this moment, you are already eternal. The awareness that is contemplating these words, the consciousness that is capable of love, growth, and understanding, this is what continues beyond physical form. This is what transcends death unchanged and enhanced. The love you are cultivating now, in your relationships, in your service to others, in your moments of compassion and kindness, this love travels with you into forever. It becomes the foundation of your continued existence. It shapes your experience in realms beyond physical imagination. Every soul you touch, every heart you comfort, every moment you choose love over fear, these create ripples that extend through dimensions and lifetimes. You are already participating in eternity. You are already contributing to the cosmic evolution of consciousness. Edgar Cayce's vision reminds us that we live in a universe where consciousness is primary, where love is the fundamental force, where every being is connected in an intricate web of mutual growth and support. Your current challenges are not punishments, but opportunities. Your relationships are not accidents, but carefully orchestrated learning experiences. Your very existence is not random, but necessary. a unique note in the symphony of cosmic consciousness that could never be replaced. As you go forward from this moment, whether you have years or decades of earthly life ahead, carry with you the knowledge that you are eternal, that death is transition, not termination, that love transcends all boundaries. Live as the immortal soul you are. Love with cosmic courage. Serve with eternal perspective. Trust the magnificent journey that is your consciousness, exploring itself through infinite expressions. You are not just witnessing the soul's journey beyond death. You are the soul. You are the journey. You are the eternal traveler discovering new dimensions of love and wisdom with each experience. Your adventure, your magnificent eternal adventure, continues now, and it continues forever.